Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do some beef jerky, and my goal for this video is to do a really simple beef jerky, something that anybody can do at home regardless of equipment and what you have to cook it on, what spices you have, etc. A quick trip to the grocery store for about 10 bucks and you can make some great beef jerky. So with that, let's get started. Okay, we're gonna get our cut of beef ready, and as far as cuts of beef goes, I'm using an eye of round. This is what I really like for beef jerky. You've got some flexibility though. Any type of round roast will work. What you want to do is make sure the fat content isn't super high. Fat leads to spoilage. Now it doesn't have to be completely fat-free, but a low amount of fat would be best. Speaking of, we want to remove some of the fat that's on the outside, I should say. So I'm just going to stick a knife in there, and I put this in the freezer, which is something you want to do before you slice it. I didn't let it go long enough because, to be honest with you, I got stuff I got to do and I need to get this done. So we're going to make the best of it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get every ounce of fat. You definitely want to deal with this fat cap here on the back side. So I'm just gonna turn it and go down. And I didn't take very much of the meat there at all. I could have been more careful, but I don't mind for the sake of speed. That was pretty good too. So a bottom round, a top round. Again, I like the eye of round. And I said 10 bucks in my intro. This was actually $15, but you can get them smaller and you certainly don't have to make this much jerky. If you do freeze it for a little while, it definitely makes it a little easier. Not just for fat removal. Fat removal is not that big of a deal either way, but for slicing your jerky. And we're just gonna use a knife. I do have a small, fairly cheap slicer, but we're gonna do this so kind of what I consider anybody can do this, because I think people assume that beef jerky is a complex process, and it doesn't have to be. As with anything, you can make it complex. Here we go. We're just about there. Again, it does not have to be perfect. So now the next thing we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna shut up and get this sliced, is I'm gonna slice this in half, long ways. And on eye of round, I'm doing this for two reasons. One, I want my pieces a little smaller, but I also want to show you, I'm hoping you can see the meat striations that all run down this way. And so you wanna cut your jerky, if you want it to be a little more chewy and tender, cut it against the grain. If you want it to be like true jerky, you want to cut it with the grain. I'm going to actually, I might do a little of each, but I am planning on doing most of it against the grain. I want true jerky. So I'm cutting this about, that's probably a little too thick. I'm going to try to go a little thinner. Again, it helps to have your meat kind of frozen, not frozen solid. But I'm hoping this slicing knife, it's pretty sharp. And if some pieces are a little thicker, they just might take a little longer, and that's fine. So I'm gonna get this done and then bring you back, and we'll go on to the next step. I'm trying to keep this video reasonably short. So this is what we're gonna do to the rest of it, and we'll go from there. All right, we're back. Our meat is all sliced up. By the way, let me look real fast. This was about just barely shy of 3-pound round roast. Probably cut off a few ounces of fat, so probably about 2.5 pounds worth of jerky. Now again, the goal of this video is to show you that anybody can make beef jerky. It's not some special thing you need all kinds of special equipment for. So we're gonna, for our marinade, just use a store-bought teriyaki sauce. I just went this morning and found a teriyaki sauce. I didn't have any plan on what I was going to get. I thought I might want to do teriyaki, so I got a teriyaki marinating sauce. Gonna need to get the plastic stopper out of here. Here we go. And we're just pouring it on. No other seasoning or anything. This is going to be all we need. And we need to make sure that this beef is all covered and coated. So kind of separate the pieces and just mix it around. Now, in this particular bowl I have, the marinade is not completely covering the beef. So I'm definitely, this is going to be, by the way, in the fridge marinating for 12 to 24 hours. That's what I usually go by, 12 to 24 hours. And in this case, I'm probably going to be about 20 hours is my plan. We'll see, something like that, just based on what time it is right now. So I'll probably get back in here once or twice and do this mix again. Again, just making sure everything gets contact with the marinade in a sort of an even way. So I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap. Try to push this down in there as best I can. Cover it with plastic wrap, and it is going to the fridge, and it's going to sit there for 12 to 24 hours. That's all you got to do. It's that simple. So we will bring you back and talk about the next step. The next step is one that I'm going to do, use something sort of special. When I say special, the method I'm going to cook with, but there are easy ways around even needing that, and I'll talk about that in the next segment. See you in 15 or 20 hours. Okay, so it's been about 20 hours. The only thing I've done off camera is I switched my vessel just to one with a lid because I didn't want to deal with plastic wrap. I also added about a teaspoon of liquid smoke to this, which I forgot to do when I put it all together. And it's totally optional. I just wanted to add a little smoky flavor because of the way I'm cooking these, which brings me to that. I am using a dehydrator. Not everybody has a dehydrator, I get it, but you can totally do this in your oven, just at your lowest setting. My lowest setting on my oven is about 170. I'm going to run the dehydrator at 160. So it's not that much different. You can also do it on a pellet cooker. I made some of the best jerky I've ever made on a pellet cooker. Most of them will go down to the 160 to 180 range, and that's fine too. So however you want to do it, I'm using a dehydrator today, but you can absolutely use an oven. You'll just want to make sure you have a pan to catch any drippings in your oven, because it will drip a little bit. We're going to sort of dry it off, but it's never going to be perfect. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give a little cooking spray to my dehydrator racks, which you'll want to do the same thing no matter how you're cooking these. And from there, we're just going to start taking pieces of this jerky out. By the way, I mixed this like 3 more times over the last 20 hours just to make sure we were getting even coverage. And we're just going to lay this out evenly across the racks. And you can get them close together. They will shrink, but you don't want them to touch. So it's sort of like putting a piece of the pieces of a puzzle together, just in the way you lay your pieces out. So in an effort to keep this video short, I'm gonna stop the video here, and we'll bring you back when we get all of these racks loaded. I've got the opportunity or the option of using 6 racks. I'm not sure how many this will take, but I've got them all here, and we'll be prepared to use as many as we need, and hopefully 6 will be enough. So again, we'll bring you back here in 5 minutes or so. All right, so we've got our beef jerky. It took 3 trays. I actually thought it would take at least 4, so bad call there, but that's all right. Gonna put the final tray in, and just loading them in the middle. I don't think it really matters. The air intake and output here is pretty good. So we're gonna set this, I'm gonna set it for 160 degrees. And for time, I'm gonna go 6 hours. I think it's gonna take 4 to 6 hours, but I'll be prepared to go further if I need to. And there we go. So we're just gonna shut that and let it do its thing. If you're using a different type of cooking device, a pellet grill or an oven, again, just make sure you can put it right on the oven racks directly. If you've got some sort of other rack, feel free to use it. Do put something, a cookie sheet or something under to catch any drippings. I would recommend that. But either way, pellet grill or oven, put it at its lowest setting and just let it go. If you've got the ability to do some convection, I would do that. It will help dry it out. But I have done this in everything. I've done it in the oven, I've done it in the pellet cooker, and I've done it in the dehydrator. So works great anywhere. Again, we're trying to be as simple as possible. So we'll bring you back, and there's not going to be much to see. So we'll see you when this is good and finished. So we're just a couple of minutes over, 3 hours into our jerky. And I want to turn the racks around just to promote some evenness. So I thought I would bring you back. This is looking really good. I might even flip these over. Again, just want to make sure we're getting even cooking and drying. So far this is looking great, and I am looking at this thinking that this is probably going to be done at the 6 hour mark or less. I'm going to try this piece right here. It's just a really small piece that cooked faster than everything else. Some of these are going to be done sooner for sure. That's beef jerky. That's good. All right, I'm going to get these other 2 racks done. I won't keep you here for this, and we'll bring you back here in 2 or 3 hours. Okay, 5 hours in, we have beef jerky. I don't even think this is hot anymore. I turned this off a while ago while I was doing something else because I thought it was done. There we go. So we can bend it, but it doesn't snap in two. To me, that's about the perfect texture. So good. So I'm going to get a couple of things ready to go here, and then we'll show you the final steps and go from there. All right, so I'll show you what we do to get our beef jerky stored. So I use a vacuum sealer. I actually got a new one for Christmas, a chamber vacuum. I find that 6 pieces stored together is a pretty good number for us. Sometimes 4 pieces, sort of depends on how big it is too, but whatever works for you. So we'll just get it in the vacuum seal bag. Open this up. And there we go. Clip it down and press start. And there we go. So there's our vacuum sealed beef jerky. And stored in the fridge, this will last, I've found, 2 weeks to a month easily, if not longer. But remember, this is uncured. This doesn't have all the stuff in it that you know, the Sasquatch stuff does to keep it, you know, for a year or two. So you'll want to use it within 2 weeks to a month, but it never lasts that long here. So that's it, everybody. That's easy beef jerky. Real quick, how did we do this? We just grabbed some marinade at the store that I thought looked good. In this case, it was a teriyaki marinade, but use whatever you want. I used an eye of round, trimmed the fat off. I got it near frozen, but not quite frozen. Cut thin slices with a knife, and I used my dehydrator
but you can use an oven, you can use a pellet smoker, just go as low as possible. 160 degrees is good. If your oven only goes down to 170, that's fine too. And this took 5 hours. You just want to monitor it and look for that consistency in beef jerky that you want. And that's it. So couldn't be easier. Much cheaper than buying it at the store. This much beef jerky from the Sasquatch would probably be 40 or 50 bucks. I don't know if you've looked at the price of beef jerky lately, but it's outrageous. So anyway, that's it for BuQeye Barbecue today. If you found any value in this at all, I would appreciate a like and certainly a subscription to the channel, and ding that bell for notifications. I've got some good things coming out, like some easy home done summer sausage coming. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.